moment. When he does, we are going to do a bit of an unveiling of the tea chapter this afternoon when he is here. 23 years of experience in environmental services, civil works, biomedical waste, and hazardous liga engineers and RK Constructions. He founded Ramki Group in 1994 and serves as to address the gathering on his journey to Ramki Infrastructure Private Limited and opportunities in environment.
As an entrepreneur, the journey which I started 30 years ago from a very basic background and from an agricultural background family. Never thought thought of building something initial days. The beginning where the schooling was a major concern, even though I came from a place very close to Guntur, reasonably educated, but we had to walk through every day at least 6-7 kilometers. Transportation was a major problem. Not enough infrastructure in the school, both physical and teaching. But the desire was that, there is something that we have to learn. There is something that we have to contribute. Because I always believed that I think God was kind. He has given us a reasonable social status, reasonable financial status, health. So I always felt there is something that we have to learn in spite of all odds and give it back to the society. My grandmother was instrumental, friends, in shaping up my career. She always used to tell me that God was very kind to us, that at least some basics were provided to us by the time she or we ourselves, we were trying to live upon. So that she always used to say that it has to be given back to the society in a big way. And that's when I started believing that yes, I have to learn now. I have to give back. But the basics, initial days, what I have seen, in the initial days, we were reasonably blessed, with good agricultural lands. But that agriculture on which my father and my parents used to focus, we always lost money in spite of irrigated lands. We were about 4 children. The brought up and the expenses were always forcing us that the requirements are a lot more than what was available to us. So the journey from school to the college, engineering, I was lucky enough to get into civil environmental engineering. But by that time, we realized, and by the time we came out of the school, college, almost we have lost everything because of the issues, in agriculture. I have seen a lot of people, have lost money, and that too, when you try to do little beyond. So the money, we have lost everything, So there was a need for me. There was a lot more social pressure, family pressure that yes, whatever we dreamt, I think the time has come to give back. So that has prompted me to think of entrepreneuring journey. There for a few years, but I had a clarity in my mind that as an entrepreneur, if I have to say, I have to learn, now this is the journey where I have to start. Started focusing on environmental, even though construction main, but started looking at environmental because I could see that water, wastewater, air pollution, solid waste, noise pollution, all that is going to be the future, and there was a lot of gap between what was really there in field and what was really there in books. So I try to look at focusing more on while I was working there. So few years of that working where I was able to work under one of the best consultants, architects, project management consultants and the contractors gave me a real insight of how we can learn things quickly. In an area again, started focusing, while when you start working for somebody, they give you a particular job and ask you to do work in that area. But keeping that, as our main agenda, the other side, what are the learnings that we have to take up while we keep our entrepreneurial journey in place. So I was working as a plant manager. That was my morning 6 to evening 10. That was my construction activity. But whatever the time that was available, I used to focus on my environmental works connected to that particular project and that particular sector. So started building both practical experiences which we were not taught in our colleges, but started learning in the field, and then started focusing on what is needed for the future to build my career. So that's where I see, the 5 years I worked from 84 to 89 gave me a real insight of building some of the best infrastructure. Tough times around which that entrepreneurship comes out and gives the real moral and mental, physical support to the teams around you. But what I wanted to tell you in this almost 19 plus 20 years journey, a great satisfaction, my friends. We have built India's first, some of the first things. We have built India's first medical waste management facility. We handle more than 300,000 of medical waste beds every day. Today we handle more than 70% of India's medical waste management. Same thing, industrial hazardous waste. We have built almost 17 waste management facilities, hazardous waste facilities, almost in all parts of the country we are there. Same thing we have built, we handle more than 1.5 million tons of hazardous waste every day, every year. We handle about more than 13,000 tons of municipal solid waste. We have built India's first integrated municipal waste management center, and we have built the first pharmaceutical industrial park in the country. We have built a lot of water and wastewater recycling facilities. What I wanted to tell you, my friends, a small beginning as a small consultant, contractor, a consultant and a PMC, and also now we have built more than 78 BOT projects in the country. I think a great experience, a great satisfaction. Okay, some of the problems what I see, these public-private partnerships, what we have of late converted in the last 1 decade has become a major pain to us. The responsibility that we take in building up this infrastructure for the government, has become a major mess for us. Unfortunately, all the stakeholders in the system have not understood the risks that are associated. While my background as a consultant has really helped me, I was very, very conservative, very low profile. But the process of transformation, when you have to build your balance sheet, so you have to take some risks. We took those risks. Honestly, I must tell you, managing all the stakeholders in a democratic country like India, has huge challenges. And while we see a lot of advantages, but I must tell you, without discipline, with a lot of freedom in the system, without much accountability to the people in place, I think there are a lot of pressures in the system. And those pressures ultimately at the end of the day, a person who is going to a company which is going to take the responsibility to build that infrastructure, it's going to come around it. As you grow big, those problems are going to become a lot more. And when you see, when I say 78 BOT projects, I must tell you, in terms of number of projects, we are the largest in the country. Not many knows it. But in terms of size, we were always cautious, careful. I know this country is famous for building its own cute, good Charminars and Taj Mahals, not to build great big walls. So I was always trying to be very cautious and careful in building my business. But the country needed, the opportunities came in, and when we wanted to really started building these great walls, that was the time when we started getting and seeing these problems. Honestly, in 2003, the first opportunity of building almost those days a $150 million pharma city as a project. When I got that project to build, honestly I tell you, it came only for one reason. We were, even those days, we were the best in environmental infrastructure management in the country. That was also primarily because, you know, I come from this state, I was hesitant to take up. I know there are a lot of social challenges that are going to come around. But we took that challenge. There was a lot of support that came from the government those days. But subsequently, when we started implementing that project, I mean, God bless, you know, I tell you, unbelievable challenges. Okay, you know, this is all, you know, as one individual or few individuals you can start building. I don't know how much time we have, sir. I have? Go ahead. Okay, I must tell you, my friends, taking people around me was very, very difficult. And everybody, to align them with you was a lot more difficulty. So the problem is, first of all, nobody was wanting to fund a project like Pharma City. Today, if you look at, sir, I wanted to tell you this state, this country should feel proud of building up a project like that. Already more than $2 billion investment has come. And I see another $4 billion investment is happening. Where are those sort of infrastructure projects in the country? But we got a lot of problems. Some of you know. Let me tell you, this is a learning, you know, which I wanted to tell you. While I was very careful, very cautious, as a consultant, as a contractor, as a developer, all the phases of experience still we had. And I must proudly say that we have a reasonably strong team, reasonably strong experiences. But even then, you know, and that project is still, you know, I say from an international point of view, it's a very small project. We know, you know, compared to China, where are we? So what I wanted to say, even to build those small, tiny, you know, Taj Mahals and Charminars, we are finding it difficult to build in our country. But those learnings, you know, I must tell you, and those challenges have made us to feel, you know, a lot more strong and say that, you know, boss, let's not worry. Yes, there are going to be issues around, but still you need to go on with your journey. The point I wanted to make it here is that in building that a business as an entrepreneur, while you may be knowing everything with you, there are a lot of stakeholders that you have to carry them with you. Not many will be with you in this journey. Please note, it's like Sabarimala trekking. You start from 0 to 60-kilometer walk. I must tell you, whatever it is, you know, whatever good team you carry, ultimately by the time you reach the shrine, I have seen in my experience, only very few, out of 100, maybe 1-2 people only will be with you. So that's an entrepreneurial journey I see, I have seen for myself, and I am telling most of you that these are all the challenges that come, but the satisfaction when you go and see. I was there the other day in Pharma City after a long time, but I must tell you, I feel proud. I feel a lot more satisfied. I see when we have built the infrastructure. I must tell you, today in Andhra Pradesh, you know, most of our companies, you know, most of what is promising, what is promising sector for us is pharmaceutical, you know. I think this state, I think we all should feel proud of building some of the best pharmaceutical organizations. When I see them, I feel pity for them. See, building a factory, managing their own production, selling that and making business, I think to that extent, I think we should leave it to them. The rest of it, someone else has to take over. Individually, if the same industry has to do it technically and financially, it's not feasible. Same thing, you know, in our waste management experiences also, individual companies cannot afford. You need to have common infrastructure. Who can build these things? Government has to build. Government has to come up with PPP structures. The PPP, the so-called public-private partnership, is not anymore a true PPP. It has become only a please, please, please concept. always you go and beg every government agency, every regulatory agency, every facilitation agency, and every supporting agency. Let me tell you, sir, I must tell you that in 30 years I had an impeccable record with my financial institutions. First time when we are facing some cash flow challenges, we have to get huge money from government organizations. Banks say, boss, we have 90 days NPA, your 30 years history was good, but now we can't support you anymore. The moment you don't pay your employees on time, I am telling you, that's where the real problem starts coming up. The moment you can't pay, nowadays some very good funny service tax. If you don't pay service tax, all entrepreneurs will put you behind bars. So these are all the type of things that are coming up. These are all the challenges that are going to be there. But what I see is that for an entrepreneur, the journey is very clear. We all have to be clear. The journey is going to be tough. We have to have a clarity, whether our grandmother, grandfather, our parents, what they have told us. Some of us, I say that we are blessed. That support, that bless what our society or our parents or our families have given. Through this entrepreneurship, you are going to give back to your society, to your country, to your state. I think that is when we feel proud of being an entrepreneur. I want to tell you, my friends, while I see ups and downs, I am very clear, my journey is with a clear clarity that I have to make my grandmother's dreams fulfilled. I have to see that the poor people in this country, in this society, have to be supported with a clear clarity that, whatever best I can do as long as I live. That's my responsibility, I believe, not to make some personal money or not to make some personal wealth for me. I must tell you, highest level of integrity we try to maintain. Because I told you day one, I was very clear, I was trying to build an institution, not something personally for ourselves. This institution beyond me, it should excel. That was the clarity with which we were trying to build. But the sectors where we are, I see that whatever anybody writes, whatever anybody talks, I think we have to be clear to ourselves. The sectors like waste management, sectors like infrastructure, real estate, I must tell you a lot of connection with these government agencies where there are a lot of interferences that are going to go. You have to understand how do you manage these challenges, how do you go with, while you don't forget your broader objective of building something for your country. I think in that journey, I think carrying ourselves, all these stakeholders with us, all these challenges with us should not deter us from achieving our goal. This is what I have learnt, and let me tell you, this problem, I also have a problem with regulators, I have a problem with investigating agencies in the country, but I know I am true to myself, so I never looked back. I wanted to tell you, somebody who wants to take this entrepreneur journey in these sectors, or most of the other sectors also, you see Kumar Mangalam Birla also we have seen. So there are problems, but you all have to really make up yourself to see that this is all part of journey, and we have to just move on. For that, what I believed ultimately, before I end up my speech, I would like to tell you that I believed in 5 important issues. I have a very clear clarity that the integrity is highest level of importance for an entrepreneur. We have to have a clear clarity, on this aspect. What is this integrity means? A commitment for ourselves, for our business, and for the society. I think very clearly we should write down. And the competency. Then third point is the competency. I think we have to start building up the competencies. Without a competency, build up yourself. Ultimately, let me tell you, in a country like India, which is, I must tell you, with 1.2 billion people, and whatever we say, it's like a slum for the global market. That's how I see. So in a slum, to build an institution is very tough, and safeguarding that is a lot more tough. So you need to have, and creating value around it is a lot more tough. So while understanding this, the competence matters. Without you yourself having the competence, you say that there is someone else who is going to take over, or they will support, I will just manage, is not acceptable, not possible. So the competence you need to build. And above all, everything has to be driven by you. I think this is very, very, very important. The driving force, you are like an engine. The entrepreneur like an engine, always have to be heat, and you should be in the forefront. You have to keep driving everyone. And then alignment. You have to ensure that the alignment, the entire organization and all the stakeholders are aligned with you. So with that sort of a spirit and with some of those sort of values that you build around yourself, people keep watching you. And once the people start getting confidence in you, I don't see any problem of money. I don't see any problem of other resources. I think the journey is going to be very successful. But I think what is most important is a country like India, is a jungle. In jungle, you have to still find your way for survival. And that too for an entrepreneur, that leadership role, I think a lot more sacrifices that that will come around you people. So I want I have a lot of respect for entrepreneurship. I'm very happy to be here, share some of my thoughts, and really thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much, Nata. All the best to Telugu Entrepreneurs Association and all my friends here who are wanting to take their journey in the entrepreneurship role. Thank you very much.
It was a great story on how to make money from waste. Thank you so much. And how to deal with the regulators. It's nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Reddy. I now, the next speaker on the line, I'm going to call Mr. Srini Raju onto the stage first. Madhavi made money by giving money to people. So he is the guy who has actually heard stories from people about their entrepreneurship and actually said, I take immense pleasure in inviting Mr. Srini Raju, who is the COO of Mahendra Satyam and first CEO of Cognizant Technology Services. Mr. Srini was seed or angel capital and spending lots of time mentoring with them. Most of his initiatives have become leading businesses in their respective fields. I'm now calling upon Srini Raju to address the gathering on his journey in becoming a venture capitalist. Please.
So he's the guy who has the opium.
He's the guy who has the opium, yes.
Now I've seen my friend Ayodhya talking. I see the objective of this association being fostering entrepreneurship among Telugu people worldwide. The general perception is that the Telugu people are very enterprising. Just after the Gujaratis, Punjabis, and generally people have a perception that we are the most enterprising people. But there's a gap. That's a perception, but the reality is a little different. We have not built any institutions. So I did ask some of the professors, sociologists, seeing that how come when the perception is created that we are very aggressive entrepreneurs, that we have not built really institutions. They said that when we broke away from the then Madras state, it was what was left is just agrarian state. And from the agrarian state, thanks to the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam construction, that there are all these infrastructure companies had moorings there. And similarly, when the IT came in, there was a few companies that came in that sector, and pharma opportunity created some more companies. But maybe we didn't have the time or we did not have the will to create the institutions. So many of us, if you see across the world, whether it's in India or in the US and other countries, you don't see big institutions, big companies owned by Indians. There are lots of small companies, a lot of medium-sized companies, few large companies, but it's not like what you see in Chennai, that generations of people have companies there in Bombay, in other places. Having said that,